Welcome to the Buckhorn Podcast. I'm Martelle, and with me always is Randy. What up, Randy?
What is going on?
Not much. Just trying to get through this weekend so that I can get through next week so that I can get to the next weekend.
Oh, I've had a good weekend.
Yeah, mine hasn't been bad.
Great weekend.
We had a pretty good weekend. I was off Friday, so that was nice.
What'd you do?
Went down to Kentucky.
Why?
Well, we were supposed to go to Kings Island on Friday.
You took a wrong turn.
We did.
You forgot to stop.
We forgot to stop on 71. We just kept on driving. We were going to take the girls down to Kings Island, but it decided to rain a lot.
Yeah, it did do that.
And they closed down the attractions and all the good rides when it starts to thunder and lightning. So we decided to go down to the aquarium in Newport and hang out down there for the day.
I've heard that's a really nice aquarium. I have not been there.
It was really nice. It was a good time. We went down, saw the fishes, saw a couple sharks.
Species.
Pet some stingrays and some amoebas. Anemones. Amoebas.
It's impressive.
Well, you know, they're
Technology.
tiny. You have to use the two-finger touch technique.
Hey, now.
So,
there might be kids listening. Probably not. Yeah, I had a good day. Yesterday, I went to my buddy's house up in Hilliard, and he's had this 69 Volkswagen Beetle that has not been on the road for 3 years, all because he just didn't want to find out why the rear brakes wouldn't bleed. So I was like, dude, let's get this thing going. It runs, right? He's like, yeah, it runs. And of course, when I get up there and I ask him about it, he's like, yeah, I mean, it ran 3 years ago. So it's on car dollies in his garage. So we literally just spun it around.
That's pure laziness. Not
jack it
brakes.
up and the whole time he's sitting there, he's like, yeah, I'm lazy. I don't want to do it that way. I don't want it. And long story short, we're working on it, and he's finally like, okay, I'm going to have to get new parts. Screw it. I'm upgrading to disc brakes. Cool. Order the parts. I'll see you next Saturday. And Skinner, another buddy of ours, happened to swing by and made me fall in love with his new truck. He got a 4-door Toyota Tacoma TRD, 6-speed. So he's like, when we went to lunch, he's like, hey, you want to ride, in the truck? And I was driving my wife's Camry, so I was like, yeah, I'll ride in the truck.
Yeah, I don't want to ride in the Camry.
Yeah, I hopped up in that thing, and man, we pull out to Hilliard Road. He's in first gear, he kind of gets on a little, and he throws in a second, just guns it, chirps these wheels, and I'm just like, burr. Oh, I guess it chirped the tires, I guess not the wheels. But when I heard that, I just started giggling. He starts laughing. I was like, you're going to tick my wife off because I'm going to go home and try to explain to her why I need not only a vintage truck, but a new truck. And he's like, yo, I got this for a lease. I only pay $260 a month. I was like, shut up. He's like, yeah. So, of course I get home and Beth says no, but buddy Mitch came in with his girlfriend. We all went to Habaneros in Hilliard. If you have not been, go. It's incredible. It's like you haven't even been.
I haven't been there. No, I need to head over that way.
Dude, they've got, you remember when Chipotle first opened, came, to Ohio?
Yeah, it was like the big thing, everybody. I actually,
huge.
When I worked up at Easton back in like 99, 2000, I think I ate at Chipotle every day for about 30 days.
Right.
Consecutively.
Well, it was great then because the Mexicans were working it. It was all
good. It wasn't
food.
A bunch of emo shitheads that were like,
right. And then they were like, somebody got all mad that Chipotle was employing Mexicans to cook Mexican food. So they started hiring.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Right, at all. Well, Habaneros is this family that just opened their own. And you can go in and get a bowl or burrito. They use all clean ingredients.
Nice.
All naturally raised, all local food. But then they also have street tacos for like $1.50 a piece.
Yeah.
They've got like barbacoa, al pastor, which they've got on a big spit just turning right there where you can see it.
See, now that's what I like. And there's a place like that up off Cherry Bottom Road and on Go Down Road called Los Gauchos.
Okay, now that's what everybody compares it to. The people I take to Habaneros say some say it's as good as, or another say it's better than Los Gauchos. So you're gonna have to try it. Yeah. I get the tortoise, man. They have a sandwich. They've got a ton of options. So it's like what Chipotle wants to be. It's like Chipotle for adults.
Yeah.
And they also have a full bar if you're into that. Which is funny because, the back bar has like all the liquor bottles. On one side, you've got like your bourbon, whiskey, vodka, and all this. And the other half of the bar is just different tequilas. I was like, you're in a real Mexican restaurant.
When you got nothing but tequilas.
Right. So, but yeah, the food there is awesome. So we ate there for lunch and hung out for a bit. But yeah, good day. And then today has just been real relaxing.
Nice.
And now I'm here and it's a beautiful day and I'm barefoot and
sitting in the studio.
Sitting in the studio.
Nice. Yeah, it's been kind of the same for me. I didn't do shit yesterday. I think I edited last week's podcast. Yeah. Finally got around to doing that. And then today I just kind of ran out to talk to the manager at the liquor store to find out what the deal is with. We finally got Weller in Ohio, so
there you go. So Ohio got a little bit better.
Ohio got a little bit better because the state liquor control department is getting off their ass and actually doing something about getting better bourbons in Ohio. So that's good. So found out that we're actually getting Weller in Ohio. They got their first shipment last week. Get another shipment on Monday. So they're actually telling the liquor stores what they're getting now instead of just like, hey, surprise, they're getting stuff now.
Right.
So it's not a mystery box anymore of what they're actually going to end up with. So that's a plus. And then we're doing our show today. Other than that,
and I didn't even have to use my AK.
Right.
Today was a good day.
Well, it's not over yet.
Yeah,
we may have to use an AK.
I left my AK in my other pants. So.
I don't have an AK, but I have an AR, so it might have to substitute.
Yeah, but nobody in the 90s rapped about having an AR.
It's because they weren't really readily available.
The machine guns weren't available in the 90s.
Now, speaking of ARs, a couple weeks ago, I shot a Barrett 50 cal.
A Barrett 50 cal, the bolt action. I saw a video of you shooting that. Was it a video or a picture?
It was video.
Was it?
Yeah.
I watched something about it.
That is amazeballs.
I'm sure. I would love to shoot one.
That thing, holy shit, is so smooth.
How far was the target set at?
Not as far as it probably should have been. Like,
what should I ask what the target was?
It was a milk jug.
A milk jug? How far out?
Maybe
12 feet.
If it was 12 feet, I would have blown that thing away.
Did you miss?
I missed. I missed it by probably an inch. It was probably 200 yards ish.
And you missed.
And I missed.
With a Barrett. So that was it? You got one shot?
One shot.
Done?
That's it. One shot. You're done.
Boo.
I know. I suck. I'm horrible at shooting. So bad at it.
Oh, you're awful. But what are you going to do when the Russians invade?
Well, I've got 1,500 rounds in my closet. And about 30 mags.
I'll just load them up.
I got one of those too.
throw them at people. Get off my land.
I'll just load up the 30 mags and pray and spray.
Tell the Russians, stay out of my driveway. The cyclists need to adjust their party pants there.
The cyclists are out there adjusting their party pants. You guys can't come in. They won't move for me. They sure as hell ain't moving for you.
One of these days, somebody's just going to jump into the most recent podcast and have no clue about a lot of our jokes.
They're like, what the fuck, party pants?
And if that's you today, go back and listen from the first episode.
Good luck.
That's a solid waste of a weekend in and of itself. Yeah, I'd love to shoot a Barrett, man. I think it's every hunters / gun guys, whatever you want to call them, folks that enjoy sports themed firearms. It's like one of those dream unicorn.
It is.
It's like a machine gun. I want to shoot a machine gun, a full on. Don't give me a trigger. I want 2 buttons. Automatic.
Oh, you want?
I want like a Ma Deuce. I want pretend I'm firing this thing out of a helicopter.
Double grip, just
yeah. I mean, whatever. I don't really care about the cadence or how many rounds per minute it fires, or I just
it'd be really fun to shoot old minigun style that has the hand crank on it.
Oh yeah,
where you have to actually crank that son of a bitch.
I think that'd be awesome.
That'd be
I'd
a
love
blast.
To do that. Or a cannon,
like a actual like fuse
Civil
cannon.
War, yeah, with a fuse.
So dangerous.
Either the light it and run, or you pull the rope.
I want to pull the rope.
Yeah,
I don't want to light it and run. I want to pull the rope.
Well, I'd light a really long one because I don't run very well. I tell everybody, we're like, we're gonna fire this cannon, and we'd be like so far away. I'd light it, and be like, okay, 24 minutes, this thing's going off. Hang on.
That's plenty of time to turn and walk. I'm gonna go down to habaneros. I'll be back.
No, I want to be so far away that I can just light it and not have to move.
Well, that's just lazy. That's like your buddy Steve bleeding brakes.
Yeah, come on, Steve, get with it. The thing is, the car's in great shape. Overall, we're going to get it. We're going to get it running.
Good, get it running. So the other thing here's something. Driving down the street the other day, come across. Now I don't know what it is. I know Upward has their sports thing.
Upward Sports, yeah.
Upward Sports. They have Upwards basketball. Now they have Upwards cheering.
Oh, they've had it for... My wife's cousin used to run it at their church for a while.
Okay, so...
I think they have basketball, cheering, soccer.
I'm surprised they don't have hockey yet.
Field hockey.
But they wouldn't have field hockey, and here's why. Because I saw flag football.
Yeah, they have flag football.
Motherfucker. Are we really trying to turn our kids into a bunch of pussies? Like,
Some people are.
There is a thing that needs to happen. Now, I didn't play football in high school. I should have. I regret not playing football in high school, but there's a thing about playing football in high school.
The football coach looked at me and regretted that I didn't play. When I walked into high school, I was 6'1", about 280, 290. And the coach looked at me. I didn't know he was a football coach at the time. And he goes, "Hey, you new here?" And I was a freshman. I went, "Yeah." Playing sports? I said, "Baseball." He said, "Baseball? You don't play football?" I said, "No." "Well, you want to join?" He said, "I could use you on my offensive line."
You're like,
and I'm like,
"No."
I'll think about it. Time goes by. He thought I was a junior or senior that transferred.
Oh.
Because, 6'1", 280, 290, in high school.
You're a big boy.
And I walked in as a freshman. And, but I regret not playing now. I wish I would have.
Yeah. I regret not playing. I wish I would have. There is discipline that is learned playing football that I wish I would have had.
I agree.
That you are not going to get. I don't care. You can tell me I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. You are not going to get that playing flag football. You are not going to get that running behind some kid trying to grab a little piece of fabric out of their pants, which just sounds dirty in its own right. So,
I'd say in general, one of the rules I would like to uphold for my child and soon to be born child is I want them to learn an instrument. I want them to learn a second language, and I want them to play some kind of sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it's soccer, as much as I would hate it, they need to be on a team. They need to be out there being physical. They need to learn to work with others. They need to learn to lose. I prefer baseball just because, like baseball, when I was a kid, it was kind of like the Sandlot in our little neighborhood. We would all get together and play, and it just built this sense of community and of belonging.
Right.
And sometimes you lost, but guess what? You lost with everybody else, and you worked harder.
Right.
But yeah, flag football. How do you practice? You can practice plays.
There's no hitting. There's no
blocking?
tackling. I don't know.
Is there an offensive and defensive line even?
There's got to be blocking, but
do they wear flags?
Everybody on the field has to wear flags. You can't just have two receivers out there wearing flags.
I know, but it's like, why would an O lineman wear a flag?
What about
unless he becomes an eligible receiver?
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, so this whole flag football thing, no.
Flag football is what we did when we got too old to take the hits and went and met some buddies at a park. And me and all my cousins.
Two-hand tag, two-hand touch, which is harder, which would be a hell of
have you played flag football? Two-hand touch is way easier than flag football. I agree flag football is like not what we should.
Either way, you know what? I don't give a shit one way or another. Even two-hand touch at this point, I'm a damn near 40 and I'm not going out to play two-hand touch. I will. I'm going to regret this. I would put on pads and go out and play.
Prove it. I'm calling that bluff.
I would.
Hey, GW that was on last week is a high school football coach, and I'm sure we can make something happen.
Trust me, I'm not playing against a bunch of high school kids because they will light my ass up.
All they do is eat beef and corn and lift hay bales.
I reneged my statement. I will not put on pads. I'm not doing that. That is, I take it back. Scratch that. Matter of fact, I'm editing this whole piece out.
That could be the viral video that makes our show.
Jesus, that would
puts us on the map, and you won't do it.
That'll just break me. My back already hurts.
You see, you guys can't see it, but he's literally sitting over there like stretching right now and kind of twitching in his seat.
I got bursitis in my knee. My back hurts. I think I broke my pinky just now, just so I could try to get out of it.
Smacked it on the table. Yeah, but no, with flag football, the only thing I've experienced with it, I've seen it. I played at like youth camps and stuff because it's an insurance thing. When it's youth camp, it's not an organized sport. Me and some of my buddies, my cousin Jay was like he was an awesome offensive lineman for Franklin Heights. His younger brother Kane played wide receiver and defensive back. If I remember, he played against Brady Quinn when he was in high school. Okay. I think he picked off Brady Quinn. Don't remember. So I'm sure
Brady Quinn.
Shut up. You knew who Brady Quinn is. I was sitting here going, well, he really doesn't know sports. But no, and my cousin Eric went to Circleville. He was an all sports kind of guy. He's kind of like Hoop. Yeah. He played football, he played basketball, he played baseball. He played soccer for a little while, and then he also realized it wasn't his thing. So we all got a call from somebody who's like, hey, a bunch of my buddies are in this flag football league, which I didn't know existed. This is for adults. And they're like, "Do you want to play?" And we like the night before, we all stayed up at their townhouse because they was all like single then or just dating. And I drive up there to Dublin, and we're like running plays in the yard, like trying to really make a go at this. And we get out there. Of course, me and Jay are like huge, so we're just gonna be the offensive line,
right?
And I think it was like 6-on-6 or 7-on-7 or something. So we had like a decent little team. These guys show up, and they're some of the scrawniest, bicycling looking, just like marathon runners I've ever seen, right? And I'm like, we looked at each other like, yeah, we listened to like Metallica all the way there. We made a pump up CD. And I mean, I was like 25, 26. We were men, and we're like all riding together in this big SUV. We're like, yeah, we're going to kill these guys. We go to this park, and like, you know, people are out walking their dog, and kids are on the swings, and we show up like walking out all ready to go. And we kind of made a joke of it. Like, we're wearing jerseys, you know, like Ohio State jersey, Cowboy, whatever we had. And these guys show up just like gym shorts and cutoffs.
You guys ready to play some throw up and kill?
Right. I was like, we are going to destroy. Like, I'm going to pick one of these guys up and just carry him down the field. Dude, we got blown out. The final score was like 54-7. Flag football is nothing but speed.
Well, yeah.
We did not have speed. We were older and fatter than all other players. And so when you say, I want my kid to learn flag football, you're really saying, I'm too afraid that my kid's going to get hurt.
Right.
And the reality is, kids get hurt.
Kids are going to get hurt.
Right.
Kids need to learn to take a hit.
Absolutely.
Like and that's one of the things about football. Like, kids need to learn to take a hit. On our youth football team, we have a girl. I think it's our team. We have a girl. She can take a hit. She will hit.
Good for her.
She will lay some boys down.
I got mad respect for that girl then.
And I love it. I love to sit there and watch her because she just runs out there. She screams at them.
Good.
And she just lays them out.
Somebody is parenting right.
Yes. Now, I tried to get my girls to play, and then my girls, she's like, I want to cheer. And then it was, I don't want to cheer anymore. And I'm like, you're cheering.
Right.
So, and you were saying, yeah, you're committed. Like, you're cheering. That's it.
Yep.
And, you know,
there were a lot of times when I was in Little League, I wanted to quit. And that wasn't an option. I took guitar lessons when I was younger, and I wanted to quit. Wasn't an option.
Well, that's, you know, you were talking about sports, instrument, language.
Yeah.
The girls, both girls are in dance.
Okay.
That's, I don't know that at this age
sport.
I wouldn't consider it a sport, but it's an art.
Well, it's definitely an art. Hands down, it's an art. It does take. It
takes dedication, talent, and practice.
Yes, and it also, because I know the dance studio that our friend owns, they have a dance team, so they're interacting with others. It's
right,
and they go to competitions, and they win and they lose.
And that's where both girls go to that. They go to the same studio that you're referring to, Fusion.
Okay. There we
both
go.
Girls go to Fusion.
Okay, shout out to Fusion.
Shout out
Lancaster,
to Fusion,
Ohio.
Carol.
Shout out to Fusion, Carol, Ohio. That's what I said.
Lexi, she plays piano.
Cool.
She's doing piano. She cheers. Harley's right now. She's doing the dance thing. We will probably do piano with her, but she wants to do martial arts.
Awesome.
So she will be getting into martial arts when I get off my lazy ass to get down to ATP.
Somebody is doing parenting right, and Martelle is
to get there signed up. But they were both doing CrossFit Kids. They were doing, we had to pull them out because of dance, the dance schedule just didn't.
Well, let's be honest, CrossFit Kids and dance, they're both getting. They're still getting the physical.
They're still getting the physical aspect of that. But if they ever asked me if they could play flag football, I would probably drop them off at the fire station.
like in a box, like you would with kittens.
No, I would just walk them up and be like, I can't deal with this anymore. They want to play flag football. And I'm pretty sure the firemen would be like, oh no, we completely understand. We will take care of this.
We got your back. Don't worry about it. We got your back.
And they would take them into a little room, set them in a chair, put toothpicks in their eyes, and blast brainwashing music and videos, and then hand them back to me in about a week.
And then they come out like, we want to join the Marines, Dad.
I'd be like, cool. Let's do this.
Their voice instantly drops 3 octaves. Yeah, so. Here's my thing with, I have a problem with upward sports. And again, it's a upward is connected to, when it's ran, it's always connected to a church.
Right. See, and just so everyone knows, I don't know anything about upward sports other than it's always connected to a church.
Right. Well, it's an organization that it's kind of an all-inclusive thing. It's everybody's welcome, and
I'm fine with that.
It doesn't matter if you're good or you suck. You get to play.
Good.
That's fair.
Fair.
Even if you only play for a little bit.
All right.
Or you get a cheer, whatever. So it's good. But my problem, and I don't care that it's connected to any church. I've been part of many different, not many. I've been part of 2 denominations. I've been around all kinds of churches. I don't care that's connected to a church. But my biggest problem is that these kids are not learning competition. They're not learning to be hungry for anything, because if you lose, nothing happens.
Right.
If you win, nothing happens. Everybody gets the same discipline, the same rewards, the same practice. Like, I feel like kids, whether they are 5 or 15, the ones that work their tails off, that watch other basketball players or football players, whatever it is, cheerleaders, that practice at home, that are attentive during practice, listening to the coach, the ones that are putting the effort.
Yeah.
Somebody should look at them and say, hey, you scored 47 points tonight.
Here's a slice of pizza.
You get a trophy. Little Johnny that took the ball and kicked it into the crowd, he doesn't get a trophy. But in upward, everybody wins. And that's my biggest issue with it. And I like that they're trying to be all inclusive. I like that it's hey, kids, it's okay that you're not as good as Johnny. But when I was a kid, it was for the 2 years my dad coached, and I think I briefly mentioned it. I played baseball from T-ball all the way up through, I think 10th grade was my last year. And one year where I went, it was such a big league that they drafted kids. So we had to go to the high school, and we had to run, we had to throw, we had to hit, we had to catch. And coaches were literally sitting on the bleachers watching all this going on, and they would then draft kids. There's about 13, 14 of us that did not get picked out of the whole league. So they said, hey, that's enough kids. If we get a coach and a sponsor, we got one more team. We can change the bracket. So they did. So, and I still remember, because I hated the collars to this day. I do. And I hate it even more because now LeBron's going to the Lakers, but our jerseys were yellow shirts with purple lettering and numbers. And I was number 13 because they went, smaller number was the smallest size, bigger number was the bigger size. So 13 and 14 were the husky fellas on the team.
I thought that was the name of the clothing you wore.
And it also the name of the clothing. I should just go ahead and get that tattooed on me, wear it proudly. But I was 13. I played third base, and our first baseman was 14. And Dad, right before the season started, the coach quit on us. So we were all bummed, and then Dad stepped in and said, I'll coach these guys. For 2 years, he took 14 kids that did not get drafted to the championship game, and we lost both times. There was one team that was full of ringers. It was 3M. They were red jerseys. I remember all this like it was yesterday. Jesus. But my point is, when we lost, Dad was like, hey, you all lost, but you gave it your all. Or, hey, here's why you lost. When you didn't do this, when you decided not to swing the bat, when, he would tell kids, this is what you need to improve on so we can do better.
Right.
This is what you need to work on. And when he held practices, he would tell other kids, and the parents loved him for it. He'd be harder on me than anybody else, but he would tell any kid, if they were slacking off, pay attention.
And that's the way it should be.
Right, exactly. He'd guide them. I remember I got hit by a pitch. The first year as my coach. I didn't cry. I had tears in my eyes. I was not crying. It's one of those things where like my eyes swelled up, but I wouldn't let it out. So I'm just kind of like, oh, like
they slightly leaked.
Right. But no, it's like I got hit, take the base. Well, then I started being afraid of, people getting pitching at me. Yeah. So as a kid, looking back, I'm like, suck it up. But then it was like, I don't want to get hit again. I'm terrified. Well, I would just get up to the plate, and every pitch, no matter where it went, I'd back off. And Dad was getting ticked. He's down on one of the baselines coaching, and he'd yell, get in the batter's box, stay in the box, swing the bat, just constantly yelling. He's like, I taught you better than that. My dad played football and baseball growing up. He had broken bones. When he played football, at one point he was a tight end and a kicker, and he'd go out and play defensive tackle. He didn't care. He'd go out and just wreck people. And even in his 40s, him and his cousin played at a family reunion, and they hit each other. It sounded like two giant, I don't know, like Mises colliding or rhinos. So like they go hard. So here he is watching his son kind of wuss out. So after one game, when I did not even swing the bat once, through 7 innings, I did not swing the bat. He said, everybody else is, he did the thing at the end of the game. I think we even won. He said, get your bat back out. We ain't leaving. Ooh. I was like, uh-oh. So he goes, being a coach, he had access to the pitching machine. So he went and got a pitching machine brought out. So he's feeling it.
He loaded up with 500 balls and made you swing at every one of them.
It's got those 2 giant rubber wheels spinning, and I'm sitting here going, man, these things, these are coming at me 90 mile an hour. Odds are it's like 45 or 50. But, literally, I was terrified, and I kept backing up. So he put a bat behind me. So if I step, I'd like roll. He said, don't step on that bat. I'd step over it. And he just kept, he's working with me. He's trying, and finally he lost his patience. He cranked that sucker up to, I don't know what. I'd be lying if I said it was 90. It was probably like 60. I'm guessing. I don't know. But he looked that up. He said, stay in the box. And right before he dropped the ball, he just kind of nudged it. And he shot it. And that thing came at me so fast, I couldn't do anything but turn. And I turned, back towards the backstop. And it caught me right in my riblet. Oh. Smack. And I just winced. And I knew I wasn't allowed to cry. Like, I was like, this is it. So I sat there and he's like, you good? And I'm like, yes. He's like, did it hurt? I'm like, yeah, it hurt. He said, good. I turned that thing up way faster than anybody in this league can pitch. Now you don't have anything to be afraid of. And ever since then, I was like, my batting average like skyrocketed.
And then to this day, you still have the strings.
Yeah, right. I've still got the thread marks in my riblet. But the thing is, like, it taught me that discipline. And it took me getting hit by a ball from a pitching machine to realize, I can live through this. I can overcome, and be a better baseball player because of it. With something like Upward Sports where, hey, you never swing the bat. Good job at not trying. Here's a trophy. That's where I have a problem. So, I gladly, with pride, accepted my second place trophy both years because 14 people didn't want us, and we fought hard to be one of the best teams in the league for 2 years in a row.
Right. So I want to jump back. So on the participation trophy thing, I hate participation trophies.
Right. That's Upward. Now you know.
And our league does it. Like the young kids do it, and I'm all for them. I used to be against it, but I'm all for them doing it at the younger ages, like 5, 6, 7, because it's building up confidence.
Yeah.
But the coaches are still, at least for our youth, the coaches are still assholes. I mean, they're still like, on the football side of things. On the soccer side of things, soccer is a
dainty sport.
Yeah, that's a better description than I was going to use.
I was trying to save you from yourself.
So they're more like, oh yeah, just get in there. We're going to do this and we're going to try to do this and don't bumblebee the ball, and it just looks like a swarm of fish or bees.
It's like GW was saying, it's an amoeba of kids just running around not knowing what they're doing.
So for that, it's fine. When you start getting into
also an amoeba school, that you cannot pet, by the way.
Yeah, the amoeba you cannot pet. When you start getting into middle school,
yeah, absolutely.
When you start getting into high school, because they still do these damn participation awards in middle school.
Why? Those kids are old enough to know. By then, something's happened in every kid's life that has not gone the way they wanted.
They don't need it. They don't need a participation award at that point. When you're I'm through elementary school, fine. Whatever, you're building up confidence at that point. I will concede to that. And I read a post from a gym owner that kind of changed my mind on that just recently. Like, so up until like literally probably 2 months ago, I was completely all against no participation awards.
Right.
Eat shit. I'm with James Harrison on this. No participation awards. Until I read this post from actually a guy who he owns a gym in Pataskala. He went to the school district over from me, and he was like, no, participation awards, they build confidence in younger kids, up until a certain point, and then, then they don't need them.
Right.
So, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
It's kind of like the age of innocence.
Right.
When they're so young, they really don't understand either way.
Right. So, yes. Up until a certain point, participation award, hand them out freely. You want to spend the money on a trophy, you want to spend the money on a medal, on a ribbon, great. Because that's going to build the confidence in the kids to have them play the sports to get better, what they're going to do come middle school, high school, on to college, and possibly, maybe, hopefully not an MLS player, but maybe, softball or baseball or an actual sport. Haters gonna hate. But with that said, once you hit that middle school line, stop with the fucking participation awards.
Well, I just don't get what it does.
It does at that point. It doesn't do anything
because it's building up.
It's just like, hey, it is doing something.
I think it's doing something. I think it's still building confidence that's not there.
Well, these
kids are confident in their skills, but they don't have them.
It's building an ego.
Because it's kind of like when you graduate high school and you could have been say you're one of the best athletes, or say you're one of the smartest kids in high school, and then you go to college and your professor walks in. I had a professor walk in my first year for psych, and I love this dude's name was Professor Patchke, I believe.
Okay.
He walked in wearing a leather vest, a leather ball cap, jeans, had a chain on his wallet, sunglasses on and everything, had not a beard big like mine, but a beard and kind of long hair.
Yeah.
And he walked in and said, "I'm Professor Patchke." He said, "I dress like a biker, I cuss like a trucker, and I don't care if you pass or fail. Let's go."
My kind of guy.
And it was just kind of like, you didn't get that in high school because parents get offended. It was just, here's the real world. Here's what really happens. It's on you to pass my class. It's not on me.
Right.
And there was no participation. It's college now. If you fail, it's because you failed.
It's because you didn't do what you need to do.
So my thing is, we build up confidence in these kids, and if you do it all the way up through high school, you get that kid that goes on American Idol is the worst singer you ever heard.
They think they're the best, though.
But my mom says, or everybody tells her I'm great, and they say, "Who's everybody?" Well,
my mom.
I sing in my church choir, and they say I'm good. Well, a church choir, first off, a choir is very forgiving. Secondly, a church should be even more forgiving, but your parents telling you you're good, and then they come in and find out they've never had any kind of musical career and they're tone deaf. It's just, we build up the confidence in these kids that, hey, everybody gets a trophy because you showed up, and that's good. Let's have our juice and our apples and go home. And at the end of the year, we have a big banquet for the team that did not win one game, for the kid that did not score 1 point, that didn't even try, that put in no effort. If you keep doing that through middle school and high school, I think it builds up a false confidence that I'm good at something.
Absolutely.
And people should like me because I'm good. And people should, you're not. I played guitar for years. I now play with two guys that played, they're younger than me, both way better than me.
I played air guitar for years.
But it's like, I can look at them and go, yeah, somebody asked me to play guitar and I can kind of play. But if somebody asks me for a guitarist for an event, I recommend them. I know I'm not as good as somebody else at a certain sport, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, but that came from when I was younger. Hey, I suck at this. I need to try harder. Or, hey, I suck at this. I need to find something I'm better at. You don't get that with participation awards.
No. And that's...
Does it chap your cheeks?
It chaps my cheeks.
Yeah, I'm fully with you on the flag football. The fact... flag football... in a league with participation points is probably the lowest of the low.
It
like
is.
Soccer in participation points, at least it's still just soccer.
It's still just amoebas running around.
Right. But in upper goes up through, I don't know the age. I think up through like middle schoolish age.
I think so. And I'm trying to remember. I meant to take a picture of the sign, but I was too pissed off to grab my phone. You can probably find one
online, I'm sure.
I can drive by the church again and take another picture.
Oh, you can do that.
Anyway. So
yeah, I'm with you on that, man. Flag football in a participation league is laughable to me. Well,
flag football in general to me is just laughable.
Like I said, it's for old dudes that don't want to get hit.
Right. I mean,
we went out that day, and
we even played it in middle school. We would play full on tackle in middle school.
Smear the queers, what we called it.
Yeah,
you can't say that now.
Well, you can't. I'm gonna have to beep this.
Smear the gender fluid.
The gender equality.
No, that sounds bad too. That just doesn't work. Man.
Well, screw it. I'm not beeping anything. But anyway,
that's a game we played. And basically that game was one guy stands at the end of the field. You kick the ball off to him or throw it, the football, and he has to run to the other end without getting tackled.
Right.
And you literally had however other many kids were there trying to hit you.
Throw up and kill.
And throw up and kill. It
was the same game. We just stood in a circle and threw a football up in the air, and whoever grabbed it was the one you had to...
Yeah, and they had to fight their way out.
They had to fight their way out of the circle.
And I was talking about playing with my cousins. We played backyard football the year after Kane graduated from Central Crossing with all of his high school buddies. So, me and my his older brother, Jay, Jeff, and Eric, our other cousin and stuff, where all these guys have been out of high school a few years. Well, we decided we're going to play with them because we've been kind of friends with these guys now, and we go up there and play, and Kane's, he's in great shape, and he played wide receiver, so he's playing receiver. Well, I'm playing fat middle linebacker that doesn't move much.
Don't talk about yourself.
And I'm playing all-star, all-American middle linebacker.
There you go.
Who was a Svelte 240 and ran the 4.40. And no, but there's just one of these times I saw him talking about a play, and I instantly picked up, and I do not know football routes. I don't know plays aside from playing video games a few times. but I was like, Kane is going to slant across the middle. And as soon as he broke to slant, I went full bore on him. And he got the ball and turned around. And as soon as he turned around, I laid into him. And he just got up like, he's like, that was one of the hardest hits of the day. So we just kept going. I mean, we're hitting each other as hard as we can. Come to find out, this one kid took a cleat to the forehead, a metal cleat, and it cut him open in a T pattern. So we just like wipe it off and throw a Band-Aid on, and he goes back in. And then at the end of the game, we played for like 3 or 4 hours that day out in the sun. We're all hurting. We're muddy. We're bloody. We're bruised, and we're like, great game. We're all talking about it. We're laughing. And he goes, man, I got to figure out how to explain this cut on my forehead to my mom. And his name was John. I said, John, you just graduated high school. You're about to go be a firefighter or whatever he was going to do at the time, go to college. He's a firefighter now. I said, John, what do you got to explain to your mom about getting a little cut from playing backyard football?
Yeah.
Well, I just had my appendix removed a week ago, and I'm not supposed to be doing anything physical. We were just like, as a kid here, like something got removed, some organ got removed from him, just like with it, or it was like 3 or 4 days before or something. I don't know. And he's out there. We were hitting him, and nobody knew. He didn't tell us. I was like,
he still got stitches in it at that point.
I was like, dude, we could have like done damage to you, like permanent. And he's like, yeah, but if I told you guys, you wouldn't have hit me, and I couldn't have played. It's just like, that was the generation of kids not that long ago, which I'm not saying was smart. But it was generation throw the real lawn dart in the air and everybody run away from it.
That was my favorite.
Versus we didn't
now, run though.
You can't.
We just
people don't want to see Nerf guns. Well, sidestepping's you got to be fast to sidestep. I waddle.
Well, so speaking of Nerf guns, while we were down in Kentucky,
Barrett 50 caliber Nerf gun.
No, well, I wish there was a place at the Levy place that we were at.
Did you drive your Chevy there?
No, I did not. I drove my Nissan there. Because I don't own an American vehicle.
We need to fix that problem.
No,
turn my Ford hat around here so you can see.
They usually break down sooner. Like I've had a Toyota with 250,000 miles on it that has never given me one single solid problem. I had a 1998
Ford F-150 that I bought from Jet Auto Group in Cambridge. Shout out to Jordan, who won't listen to this probably. I sold it with 6 miles shy of 300,000 and was not rusted out, had nothing wrong with it. It might just be the way people take care of the cars.
Maybe.
But
that might have something to do with it.
I will say my Toyota went forever too, and I beat the crap out of it.
I beat the shit out of this Toyota.
Toyotas do run forever. I'll give you that.
That's why they use them in the Middle East and mount machine guns in the beds of them, and they don't take care of them over there either.
Anyway,
they had a Nerf gun, like laser tag style place over there where you played with Nerf guns.
Oh yeah. I've heard of it. I haven't been there, but
anyway,
I saw one of those.
That was my Nerf gun story.
The end.
The end.
Riveting.
That's it. Yeah, no, right?
I've seen those Nerf gun places, and
that's where we're going to insert hoops.
Laugh track. Right there.
Wah, 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 wah.
No, but what were we even talking about? With all this has come from flag football.
This all stemmed from flag football. We still haven't even gotten to the topic we're supposed to talk about, and we're like 40 minutes into this show.
Oh, what are we supposed to talk about?
We're supposed to talk about Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster and cryptozoology and all of that. And we're 40 minutes into the show, and we haven't even touched that yet. And I still have another what chaps my cheeks.
Hey, you know what? Let's just keep chapping cheeks then.
All right, let's chap cheeks.
Sometimes you just got to let the spirit move, man.
So the other day, I got a phone call.
Okay. Who was the phone call from?
I get spam phone calls on occasion.
Do you have a house phone still?
No. Fuck.
So you got this on your cell phone?
Yeah. When we built this house 10 and a half years ago, we didn't even bother getting a house phone. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've had the same cell phone plan for the past 10 and a half, 11 years. So we're on the same plan.
Yeah.
We have Verizon's unlimited,
everything,
like grandfather plan. We have 700 minutes. But we have unlimited everything else.
You're still on a plan that has limited minutes. That's amazing.
And I never go over the limit. Over the minutes.
I remember when you used to have to pay. I think like 60 minutes was like $40 or something.
It was ridiculous.
For a month, you had an hour's worth of talk time.
Right.
All right. So anyway, you get this call.
I get this phone call, and I'm not going to annotate like any accents or anything because that would be insensitive of me. But I get a call, and it's like, "Hello, is this Martelle or is this Brendan Martelle?"
I love how you're not doing an accent.
You like that?
That's amazing.
I know.
It sounds like a completely different.
It sounds like a completely different person. And I'm like,
of a different nationality.
I said, yeah, speaking. He's like, hi, this is so and so with whatever. Or no, he didn't even. I take it back. He didn't even list a company. He's like, your Microsoft license is expiring, and you need to get this taken care of immediately. And I'm like, oh, it is? Shit. And I'm standing at work. So I'm in my office. I'm at work, and I've got headphones on. And I have a standing desk, just to kind of give everybody an idea. I have a standing desk. I can see across my entire floor because we have low desk walls for our cubes. I've got, like, my senior managers can see and hear everything I'm saying. Everybody can hear and see me standing there talking on the phone. And I've got in a wireless headset on my phone because I'm listening to our podcast because that's all I do when I'm at work. While I'm working.
Just put it on loop.
I just put it on loop. And
It'll be way better for you when we get like 100 episodes.
I know, because I'll just sit and listen to them all. But like, I said that? Holy shit. That came out of my mouth? Imagine that. So I'm sitting there, and the guy's just like, yeah, he goes, your license is about to expire on your Windows laptop. And I'm like, oh, but it is? And I'm like, oh, shit. I said, well, How do you know that? And he's like, well, we've got ways to tell that you've got this virus. And I'm like, well, I thought you said that I had my Windows license was about to expire. He's like, well, you have a virus. You've got malware on your machine, and we have to get this taken care of. And I'm like, okay. I don't know anything about. So what do I need to do to get this taken care of on my Mac? And he's like, oh, he goes, well, we have ways that we can get in and get this taken care of on your Mac. And I said, oh, okay. But the problem is what if I don't have a Mac? He's like, well, we can get this taken care of. The malware on your machine, on your PC. we can get in. He goes, you just need to give me your credit card information, and we can get in and get this taken care of. I'm like, so is this a problem for just Mac and PCs, right? And he's like, yeah, it's just Mac and PCs only. I'm like, great, because I run Linux. Shit. And he hangs up.
Right.
Well, I turn around and I hear like my director laughing, and they're like, what the hell was that about? I'm like, this is just spam calls. I said, I get them all the time. I said, this time I just decided to kind of play with the guy. And they're like,
right.
But you do run a PC. And I'm like, well, yeah.
You don't know that.
But he doesn't know that.
Obviously.
And they're like, you don't have a Mac. I'm like, well, I don't have Linux either, but.
You should just look at them when they ask you that and be like, you're the kind of people that they take advantage of.
Well, I'm just here, to make sure everybody else gets a good laugh when I get a good spam call. So
you can go ahead and sign my paycheck. Yeah, yep. I'm with you on that because I have one that just happened to me last week.
Oh, yeah?
So I've been getting this call from, it's an automated, don't hang up. We have important information about your vehicle's extended warranty.
Oh, yeah, I get those too.
So I get that, and it comes on, it's like, press 1 to speak to representative, press 2 to be deleted from our list. So I hit 2. And 3 days later, same call. I hit 2. 3 days later, same call. I hit 2. So finally, after, of course, about a week and a half, 2 weeks of that happening, I hit 1. Of course, I get somebody from a Middle Eastern country. Thank you so much. We're glad you're interested in upgrading your vehicle's extended warranty. I said, yeah. I said, I didn't know it was about to expire. Now, again, to rehash, I've said it several times on here, but just in case it's the first time somebody's listening, I drive a 1982 Ford F100, and my wife drives a 2009 Toyota Camry. Neither one of these things have had warranties for a long time. No.
Your Ford is way out of warranty.
Never had a warranty. I don't even know if it came with them.
It probably had like a 10-mile warranty on it.
It'll get you to your farm. We'll guarantee you that.
Yep.
So I said, I'm so glad you called. I've been trying to get a hold of you guys. And I said, which vehicle? Or they said, great, we need to get this extended vehicle. I said, okay, which one of my vehicles? And he said, it got real quiet for a second. Because, here I'm saying, okay, now I'm calling your BS. Tell me what vehicles I have this warranty on.
Yeah.
And he goes, why don't we start with the one you drive most? I said, oh, which one is that? He just kind of went, what do you drive to work every day? I said, well, I drove the car today, but I drive the truck most days. Well, we can start with your car. I said, okay, what kind of car is it? I said, bro, my daily driver is a 1982 Ford F100. Stop calling me. Click. Like I was about ready to go on a tirade. Click. It just, they drive me nuts. My favorite telemarketer called it. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good.
I had one. My buddy was, back before either of us were married, he was renting a house in Circleville. We were all over there for a party, and everybody's being dumb. Somebody's phone rings. It was, think is when I had my like Samsung flip phone, Sidewinder, whatever it's called. And I get this call. And I'm sitting there. I told everybody, I was like, be quiet, be quiet. So I put it on speakerphone. And it's I don't even remember what they're calling for, but it was telemarketing. I just kept going. I said, well, I don't think I need that. Well, we can show you how this can really help you, blah, blah. It's one of, no matter what, they had a script. Now, by this time, I'd been in sales for a while. So I said, I got to be honest with you. I can't afford what you have because I just quit my job about 2 months ago, and my buddy and I opened a store selling used microwaves. It was the first thing I looked at. I peeked in the kitchen, saw a microwave. So he bought it at the Goodwill store down there for like $4. And I was like, huh, people buy used microwaves. So I just went with it. And the person kind of was taken aback and, oh, you did? How's it going? I said, well, not well. I said, actually, this ain't even my phone. I stand outside this payphone certain hours every day, and my buddy takes a shift, and that's kind of how we roll. We had to. There's still payphones. Well, we live in a small town in Ohio. So I said, I'm on the payphone right now. But by this time, people are already drunk. They're all giggling. And they said, well, I wish I could help. I said, actually, yeah, you can. I said, I've got this microwave. And I started explaining his microwave. It's one of the old, like, pull down, the door folds down instead of swinging sideways.
Good Lord.
It's got the knobs instead of the buttons,
Yeah.
And so I'm explaining to him, I said, I bought this or I said, I can sell it to you for $20. Oh, I'm sorry. I said, no. I said, just don't hang up. Hold on. I said, look, I'll clean it. It hasn't been cleaned, and we've had it for about 3-4 weeks. And I think somebody microwaved something live in there because there's fur, but I will clean it out, knock off $2 off the price. You won't get charged for the cleaning. I just kept going. I kept this person on the line, I kid you not, for like 10, 15 minutes.
Before they hung up. Before
they finally went, sir, I've got to go. Wow. And I started going, like trying to keep them on. My kid's got to eat. I'm not even married. I don't have a kid, And that was my greatest claim to fame with a telemarketer.
Nice.
And ever since then, when I do have time, I try and go, okay, let's see if I can beat my record.
Just try
I
to
never
keep
do because these days they're instantly
they just hang up.
But back then, there were some pretty naive people in telemarketing, and it was in America. But
it was before they started outsourcing everything.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't like that. Really chaps my cheeks. Telemarketers.
Up until recently, I was getting the same warranty call for you that you would get.
Oh yeah, okay.
So they would call and they would say, "Hey, this is so and so with the warranty claims. We want to extend your warranty on your vehicle on your Audi." And I'm like,
which you have not had,
which I have not owned in almost 3 years. Okay. I'm like, oh yeah, you want to extend the warranty on my Audi? Press, the same thing. Press 1 to speak to somebody's. Press 2. And so I pressed 1, and I was very nice. I didn't get like I would press 2 and did the same thing, and then after so many, and I pressed 1, and I got somebody on the phone. I'm like, hey, do you guys like? They're like, oh, blah blah blah. We want to extend the warranty on your Audi. I'm like, yeah, but do you guys do any research on anything? And they're like, yeah, we research everything. We make sure that this, that, and the other. I'm like, but really, do you really dig deep? And they said, well, why? And I said,
because I like it deep.
I said, I haven't owned that Audi in almost 3 years. I said, who do you think owns that Audi? I said, because it's not me. I said, and if you do a title search, my name will not show up on that car.
Right.
I said, so you guys are way, 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 way behind. I said, I can tell you who owns it. Her name's Shelly. I said, she lives in downtown Columbus. You can contact her. I said, do you want her phone number? Yeah, I'm not giving it to you. I said, her name's not even Shelly. I said, I don't know where she lives.
Don't know anything about her.
I don't know anything about her. I said, don't care and don't contact me.
Right.
Click. So I know the feeling of that phone call, and we're starting to get the letters for my wife's Nissan now of, oh, your Nissan could be worth more than you know, and you can extend the warranty on your Nissan, and like just all this. If you trade it in
now, we'll give you a new one for lower payments and all this, which is never true.
We're not going to get a lower payment because we got lucky and got in on a promo that Nissan hasn't run since for 0% APR.
Yeah, since they did it, because they went, oh crap,
they went, shit, we lost money on that deal.
Yeah, we did a. What was I going to say? I had this thought and it just went right out the window.
That's what I did earlier today.
Out the window?
Well,
that explains your front sidewalk.
Well, hey. What the hell? Oh.
The perks of living in the country.
Yep.
Oh, what I was going to say, talking about you being insane, we were talking about your Volkswagens and how they didn't run right, and then the last Audi you had that you sold was a giant pain.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of problems. And what did you just purchase?
Another Audi.
Yeah, another one.
But
to my defense, your Krautmobile, your German mobiles.
Hold on. In my defense, that first one, I went through a lot of bullshit for that car, with Audi HQ. Now, I will in preference say, fuck you, HQ, because you guys lied to me.
And they're listening. First
and foremost. I hope they are. I hope Ray's listening, because that motherfucker. So I bought the car, knowing that this potentially could be an issue, and then tried to get that issue resolved with the oil consumption on the 2-liter, the 4-cylinder turbo. Tried to get the issue resolved, and they're like, nope, doesn't hit the tolerance levels. So I went to them and said, hey, I'm planning on doing these things. I'm going to do this exhaust. I plan on doing this front mount intercooler. If I put APR software on the car, granted, I know it'll void the warranty on the car, but because this is a known issue,
should have bought the extended warranty.
Well, I had the CPO.
Oh, there you go.
I had CPO, so I know it's going to void the warranty on the car. But because this is a known issue on this car, will this issue still be covered? Yeah, no problem. That shouldn't be an issue. We know that this is an issue. We know that we did this. We know that they screwed up in the factory. This issue will be covered. Now, I did not get that in writing. That is my fault.
Yep.
That was given to me over the phone. Great. I'm going to get this stuff lined up if this continues to be an issue. So then they changed the tolerance levels because they were seeing more and more of these issues come in. They changed the tolerance levels. Now my car's within tolerance, but now it's chipped.
So now they're trying to say we're not going to do it because of that.
They voided the warranty. They're like, nope, we're not dealing with this. This isn't our problem anymore. You changed the software on the car. It's creating these issues. I'm like, no, it's not creating these issues. It's within tolerance. The numbers didn't change. Well, at least you changed the numbers.
At least if you have a problem with the new car, you can always call those exact same people that totally bent you over.
I've got a spoon and some jelly, and Ray can eat my ass.
Ray, the guy that works at Audi.
He is the regional something rother for Audi, and that guy, fuck that guy.
Does he chap your cheeks?
He's something fierce.
He does something to your cheeks, don't he?
He does something.
Doesn't take advantage of you.
So now I bought an S5, or I'm in the process of buying an S5, and I got a hell of a deal on it. It was something that I couldn't pass up.
Yeah, you could have, but it was one of those you would have regretted passing up.
I would have regretted passing up the deal that I got on this car.
And I mean, let's be honest, the S5's way...
It's a V6.
It's more than the A4.
It's a lot more than the A4, but...
It's a nice car.
The horsepower that my A4 had is the same horsepower, after all the modifications, that this S5 has stock.
Right.
Now, if I want to modify this S5, I'm looking at like $4,500 to get me closer to like 600 horsepower, like 500 and some. But I don't have $4,500 laying around.
So if you want to donate, we're going to do a crowdfund.
Yeah, we're gonna set up a crowdfund to make my car faster.
I'm going to set you up one for all the psychological bills you're going to have after this one bones you over for 2 years and you sell it too.
This I have researched it. I cannot find any issues.
Yeah, but you got to look like me
that haven't had that are with this motor.
Oh, I hope not. I hope it's awesome. I love the S5s. I love the Audis. The one I've never owned one. I've owned 2 Volkswagens. Hated them both. Which we talked about in the first episode, I believe. I've always loved the S5. I've loved that they've got great styling. They just look good. The Audi. I had a friend that had a Quattro for like an '87 Quattro, like the hatchback.
Yeah.
Thing. It was like a longer hatchback.
Long hatchback, kind of square, like rectangular square front. Yeah.
I loved that car.
That's what put Audi on the map for the rally stuff.
Right. And it had, everything was different about it. And she had that car when I was in high school growing up, and I was driving the 91 Prism, and I loved that thing. Now, DJ, one of our mutual friends, just sold his, and he sees it every day because he sold it to a guy at work, and he's like, man, I kind of missed my car, but it was a good situation for him.
At least he can go borrow the keys and go sit in it.
Right. Can I park next to your car and roll the window down so I can smell the inside?
Can I smell it? Can I smell the seat where I used to sit?
But the thing is, the used Audis, if you look up right now in 2018 and you look up 2008, 2010, they still, if they're well maintained.
They're well maintained, yeah.
They're nice looking cars.
There's an A8 up the street selling for $13,000 a 2008.
Yeah, they look good, and as long as they're well maintained and there's no issues, which that's the thing with them. With any of the German cars that I've had or I know that people have had, like you had the problem with yours. Well, in the 2-liter and the 1.8 liter in both of mine, it was the sludge issue.
Yeah, the 2-liter was an oil consumption issue. The 1.8 is a sludge issue.
And it's like when they got rid of the 1.8 and then they went with the 2-liter. A lot of this stuff was supposed to, you're not supposed to have issues again.
Right. Well,
and so I can't bring myself to buy one. I love the looks of them. I drove DJ's. Actually, when I drove his, we were at an autocross event. Neither one of us were running anything. We were both there watching some other car buddies. And I was like, man, it's a nice car. I've always liked him. He's like, oh, it's pretty quick, for just a little daily driver Savan.
What? Oh, sounds like we got a new, what's a Savan?
A Savan.
Yeah.
7 auto parts. No, it's, for a sedan, it is what it is. It's a 4-door, but it looks nice. And he said, it's actually fun to drive, take it for a spin. So this was down at Circleville Raceway, which is really a go-kart track, but they autocross on it.
My Audi is not a sedan.
No, it's not.
Mine's a coupe.
I had not coupe, a Calp. It's funny because like all the car guys are standing around. It's like in between races, and I climb in this thing. Hadn't driven a stick in years, and the last one I did had like a slipping clutch.
God,
dude, I stalled that thing so hard. I put it in first and just go. And he just looked at me and I was like, well, that was embarrassing. Like, what do I say? Everybody just saw me do it.
Yep.
But I drove his. It was a 6-speed, fun car to drive. But he even had problems. He had to replace the whole freaking engine. So it's like I can't bring myself to buy.
Did he have the 2-liter?
I believe so.
Yeah. See now, and that was the thing. So if it was like if it came down to the worst case was just having the rings replaced, all the way to having an entire engine replaced. And I was fine with whatever they wanted to do. I didn't care.
Just correct the problem.
Just fix the problem with the car, and I probably wouldn't have sold it.
You loved that car when you first got it.
I loved it up until the day I got rid of it. I hated to get rid of it, but I got rid of it for 2 reasons. I got rid of it, one, because of the issue. I got tired of putting a quart of oil in it every 600 miles. I mean, I was using oil.
That's a lot of oil.
And Audi was like, yeah, not our problem. And I'm like, no, you created this problem. Like I was always putting a quart of oil in every 600 to 800 miles. That didn't change from stock software to APR software.
Right.
2, Liz wanted a new vehicle, so I got rid of my car to get her a new vehicle.
And you took the FJ.
Yeah, and I took the FJ. We could have easily just traded in the FJ.
Right.
Took $15,000 on trade-in on that and got her another vehicle. Because that's what they were willing to give us for trade-in, and it would have been easy enough and been fine for us to do.
And now you're going to have the FJ and the S5?
Now we'll have the FJ, the S5, and the Nissan.
How's she going to take parking outside?
She is going to hate it. She is.
Because I know that S5 ain't sitting outside.
Oh, that S5 is not sitting outside. That FJ will sit outside.
But yeah, I don't know. When it comes to vehicles, I have a hard time. I was working on that 69 Beetle yesterday. Problem after problem, everything we fixed, everything we did that should fix the brake issue did not work.
Right,
and it's a 69 Beetle. There's not that much to the brake system.
There's a brake line.
Yeah, exactly.
There's one brake line.
We took the brake line across. Well, there's a block in the brake line. The hard line right off we take that off, shoot air through it. Nothing's happening. We finally get it cleared. Boom, something pops out. Cool, we found the problem. Put it all back together. Still no brake fluid coming through. In the end that we took off, that was connected to the rubber brake line, had brake fluid on it. So I'm like, well, it's getting into the hard line. It's just not getting to the cylinder.
So the hard line has an issue. We
took the hard line off. There was a clog. Blew the clog out. Problem solved. You can blow air right through it. Put it in. No fluid.
Now,
so he's like,
caliper
screw it.
Issue.
So he ordered. No, we had new calipers. We had new. So he's like, screw it. He went and got ordered new braided brake lines for both sides, disc brake conversion. I said, if you're gonna
do it,
change it. Let's go ahead and upgrade it now because we've already got it all torn apart.
Yeah.
So the funniest, oh man, I want to call him out on this. So we're sitting there. He pulls the wheel off the right side, Takes, VW's got the stupid bolts instead of the studs.
I may change that on the Audi. I may just go ahead and do that because I hate it.
Ever. He takes those off. Well, then he's got the center nut on that old car, so he pulls that off. And it was smart. He didn't have a cotter pin on the right side, so it was easy. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, why don't you work on... He kind of tried to pull the drum off, and it was stuck. Well, it was old and rusted. He hadn't had it off in 3 years. I figured I just got stuck on. So he goes to the other side, pulls the wheel off, pulls the nut off. The drum just, falls off. So so I got, give me a little, 3-pound sledgehammer, so I'm beating on it, tapping it back and forth, and it's wiggling, but it's not coming loose. So we try PB Blaster. We try a low heat a torch. Just get a flame on it, heat it up. We try, everything. We're tapping it. I tapped on one part of the back of the drum, and it actually broke a little piece off. I'm like, why did the other one fall off? You said you had this off, both sides off 3 years ago. Yeah. What in the world? So he's beating on it. We're trying to pry it. I'm putting a crowbar in the back end, and we're tapping that, trying to knock it off, and it's moving, but we can't get it moved past maybe a quarter inch. So finally, he's beating on it one time. I'm sitting there looking at him, and I went, hey, Steve. And he stops and turns off the heat, the flame, the torch, whatever. I said, you got this thing jacked up and asked you if you chuck the front wheels. Did you do that? He goes, nah. It'll be fine. What's the worst that can happen? That was his theme of the day yesterday. And he says it with a smile. I'm like, you are so rednecky. I said, hey, Steve. What? I said, you didn't chuck the wheels. Did you set the e-brake? And he looked at me, got up, walked around the front of the car, released the e-brake, and the drum just slid right off. I was like, you son of a... That's how the first half hour of our day went yesterday.
That's awesome.
And I was just like, it's funny and it could happen on any vehicle, but all this is happening because this is a freaking Volkswagen. He's like, oh, no, man, German engineering. And he said it sarcastically, but yeah, I don't know. I can't wait for you to get your S5 because I want to take a ride in it. I probably won't drive it, not because I'm afraid of driving a fast car. I'm more afraid of having to pay for wrecking somebody's fast car. No, but yeah, that's fine. Those are sweet. I can't wait for you to get it here.
I can't wait. I texted the owner today. He should be back from vacation today or tomorrow. So
German vehicles, chap my cheeks.
Not mine. Well, when they don't work. Other than that, I get pure enjoyment out of them.
Oh man, I the enjoyment that I got for the 3 months total that my Volkswagens ran was not worth it.
So I only had that one major issue. So
well, good
other
for
than
you.
that, I had those 2 yellow Volkswagens for 15 years.
Yeah, combined. I thought that one gave you a bunch of crap though.
No, the one was the first one.
The first one was your toy. Was the one you built
basically
up.
A toy, and it went through many iterations until it was a 400 horsepower on paper built motor that never got running, and then I just tore it apart and sold it off.
Right.
And then I had the other one at the same time.
Didn't get running.
I did not get that one running.
Weird.
Well, that's because I was trying to do standalone and all of this other shit that just didn't pan out the way I was hoping it would.
And the Hitler Mobile was like,
It's like, nope.
Should have bought a Civic.
You're not doing this shit. And then the other one ran fine. I mean, I sold it to a guy in Newark.
Newark. Are they allowed to drive German vehicles in Newark?
Apparently.
I thought you were only allowed to have like the bro trucks out there.
I don't know. It's still on the road.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, every now and then it gets posted.
I mean, I do see Volkswagens everywhere, obviously, and I love the old Beetles. They just fit me like a XXX shirt. Well, I have to have one with the sunroof so I can fit my head in there, and my arms go out the door.
They're tiny.
Right. I look like the dad in the first Incredibles when he gets out of the car.
Well, yes, that's exactly what I was picturing too.
I told Steve, we were talking about it yesterday. I said, well, we get this thing running today. We can take it to lunch, and I'll turn it into a motorcycle. Whatever side I'm on, it's probably going to be on those 2 wheels.
I picture you more like Grape Ape standing on top of it, using it like a skateboard.
Magilla Gorilla up there. But no, I used to want to, back in the back when I was trying to build economy cars and make them fast, which wasn't going well for me.
The Tercel.
Yeah.
With neons.
Yeah. Well, the neons gave me 5 horsepower. So, no, I always wanted a Scirocco or Corrado.
Oh, the Scirocco. And the
Corrado. I've always messed up the names, but I've loved the styling of them. And I had a chance to get a Corrado one time, and I almost pulled the trigger, and then I instantly remembered all of the problems I had with my 02 Jetta and my 01 Passat. And while the Passat being a 5-speed was the most fun to drive, the Jetta felt a little quicker. It just handled better, had bigger wheels, better suspension. I looked at this thing and I just went, I'm not going to let you screw me over like the other two did, and I didn't buy it, and I don't regret it at all.
Well, depending on which one you would have decided to go with, depends on if you would have problems or not. So if you would have went like the G60.
If I bought it, I would have had a problem. I was driving the Passat down the road, and the oil pan, the bolt just popped out. It wasn't loose.
Sounds like user error.
It just popped out. It could have been user error. Call it what you will. It's just dumb stuff like that happens to me, though. I mean, the simplest thing, and it'll just sideline my car. Some of it will be the dumbest thing to happen. Well, it was like with my Ford, with that one little pivot joint that broke and left a threaded part in the engine.
Yeah.
It was a stupid thing, but it put my truck on the sidelines for like 3 or 4 weeks so I could find the part. It doesn't matter what it is. I just have bad luck with vehicles.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it happens to me too, though. Oh, man.
All right. Well, that's a wrap.
So much for conspiracy theories. Welcome to what what really chaps our cheeks.
Yeah, this episode was all about chapping cheeks. So
we're gonna have to get some ointment for that.
It kind of hurts right now. It's called butt hurt.
Let us tell you why we're butt hurt.
All right, that's it. We're out. We're done. Make sure you like us on Facebook. Check us out. Share us with a friend, a family, the homeless guy down the street,
Coworkers,
your dog.
Everybody got headphones in. Your dog. Let us know what your dog thinks of us, please.
Because our dog
We'll relate to Diesel, who's been literally on the futon, sleeping the entire time and ignoring us.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He just wants to be near us.
Oh.
So check us out on Facebook. Like us. We release every Wednesday at 5 a.m.
We are quite a organized people.
Yes, we are. So you can check me out on Facebook and Instagram at Martelle. And Randy is there doing his forging thing.
Yep, at Chieftain Forge, which I got called out on by my cousin when he saw my business cards and sent a text out to me and a bunch of our friends that love ribbing me and said,
That's
you're
right.
really playing into that 1/16 of your heritage, aren't you, bro? I said, absolutely. I am proud of that 1/16 part of me.
All right. For Randy, I'm Martelle, and we are done.
Peace.
See ya.